So a while back, Netflix came out with the live-action Death Note movie. We watched that one.
Was meh.
It was meh, yeah. Ever since then, you're like, oh, you gotta watch the anime. We gotta review the anime. You gotta watch the anime.
Because I've seen the anime before Netflix released the movie. So.
Yeah. So finally, I binged the anime one. So now we're doing the review.
Yeah. So did you like anime better than the movie? Or?
Oh yeah. Like I was alright with the movie. I don't think it was a spectacular movie.
Agreed.
But watching the anime, I was like, that movie is really bad.
I don't think it was really bad. Like if it wasn't based on anything, it was just a movie all by itself, I think it would have been an okay movie.
It did, but the second you based it on the anime and...
Like if you don't know it's based on the anime, you're not gonna care. Like,
yeah, that's why when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, this is an okay movie.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna rewatch it at any point, but
nope.
You never know. Now, after I watched the anime, I was like, yeah,
And to me, anime...
basically, William Dafoe's Ryuk was...
great.
The only thing I love about the movie.
True.
Looking back, it's like, yeah, that's the only thing that made sense. That's the only thing I was like, alright, that's good. Because he really was he was a great
character, and the visual effects on that character were also great. So,
but the anime one, like, yeah.
But listen, as far as anime goes, I've heard so many good things about it before I even started watching it, and it was like, yo, you gotta see Death Note. It's short, it's like only 37 episodes. Like you can binge this in a day, stuff like that. And usually when people hype things up, I'm a little skeptical because the experience I have with people hyping stuff up, to me is I had bad experiences. Okay, people hype up
usually
stuff.
Sometimes they hype up stuff that's not necessarily good. Yeah,
and even stuff that's good, it's not gonna be living up to those hyped up. I'm gonna say.
And it takes away from us. Like when we watch stuff, we try to have zero expectations coming in. When you hype something up,
it changes. It changes a little bit. So I was a little bit disappointed with some stuff that I watched. Not necessarily with Death Note completely though. When it comes to Death Note, I really like. I'm gonna say I like the animation because when it comes to animation is basically first thing that draws you in is the first thing you see. So, and yeah.
And whatever the music is that's playing on the opening credits.
Especially opening credit, like the opening theme is, to me, vital part of the anime, and to me Death Note dropped the ball, but whatever, that's just my opinion. I didn't like it one bit, okay? I like...
The first half of the season, I think it was great. The second song, I did not like.
I didn't like either of them.
I like the first one.
I
really like the first one.
To me, an opening to an anime has to be fast-paced and
it was. He did it.
Maybe I didn't like the song. I can't remember what it was. I would have to listen to it again. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I actually did great because when I was watching like the first few episodes while they're setting up the storyline, the best part of the anime was the music to me.
To me,
I watched I usually skip through the opening scenes when I watched the anime. I did not do it so with Death Note because I really enjoyed like that 1 minute I got the song. I was like, alright, this is a pretty cool song.
Okay.
So when it didn't bore me to death, like after however episodes it went, like 15, 20, whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
That qualifies as a good song. Usually I'm just gonna skip it.
Yeah. Pretty much same here, except with, some anime songs just remain in my cell phone as a ringtone. So, yeah. One Punch Man, I'm looking at you, hero. But whatever, man. Listen, Death Note. So basically, when I started binging it, like I couldn't get enough of it. I just had to binge through it, and I pretty much did. And then when I came,
at times I had to force myself to watch it. Not that it was bad. It was just the state of mind I was in when I was binging it. It was just like, I'd rather read a book at this point. I was like, damn, I told my brother we're going to review this before I leave. And it's like, I got to watch it. So I kind of forced myself to watch through it, even though my state of mind wasn't up for the anime. Like, I was tired, overworked and everything else. My vacation was coming up. I just needed some rest, man. And I was like, here I was, like, I wouldn't watch.
Are you going to watch it again? Death Note?
Not that I know of. Like I usually don't rewatch stuff. I don't read. I don't reread or rewatch stuff. So.
Except
And
movies.
here's the thing. Yeah, certain movies.
Yeah, certain movies.
So, even when it comes to books, my favorite books, I don't read them at any point. Because there's so many books coming out. It's like if I take time to reread, like stuff just gets away from me. So with the anime, I liked it. Would I like it more had I watched it with my state of mind being differently? Maybe. But I still have very high opinion of it.
And
I don't think my state of mind took anything away from the anime. I still enjoyed it. And I don't blame myself for forcing myself to watch it.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like, damn, this is like... And I didn't fall asleep while I was watching it because it really...
I mean,
I was into it.
It's 20-minute show,
Oh, yeah.
so it like 37 episodes.
Oh, yeah, but there were
20
times when I was just like,
Yeah.
and then my internet connection was killing me, so I couldn't... All the buffering, and it took me like an hour to watch an episode. It was just like, everything just kind of came together. But at the end, like I said, I still... Even with all that stuff getting in the way of me watching the anime, I still liked it.
And you watched the original Japanese version or
Yep.
dub? Because I watched the dub version and I liked it a lot. Okay. Until the story kind of like when that one thing happens with that one character, like at the end of those 20 episodes.
Which one?
You know, when stuff happens with L.
Yeah.
Basically what happens afterwards to me was like, did we really need another Sherlock Holmes ripoff here? Like, did we really need to go into all this?
I didn't necessarily hate it. I did not see it coming.
I didn't expect
I know
it either,
that
yeah.
they were building up to it. Are we spoiling stuff here or not?
You know what? At this point, I really don't care.
Alright, Cyril dies like 20 episodes in. And L is the guy who's trying to catch.
If you haven't seen it and you want to watch it,
Yeah.
go and watch it and then come back, okay? This
Yeah.
is...
Basically, L is the guy, he's smart, he's brilliant, he's trying to catch Kira, who is basically killing criminals
Yeah.
with the Death Note.
Which is basically a notebook that
Yeah.
allows you to
You
kill...
write a person's name and the person's name.
And if when you're writing their name in there, if you have to be thinking
There's
of how
certain
they're
rules,
yeah,
you
there are
know.
certain rules you have to follow up, and that person will eventually die, or instantly, depending on when
What you write.
Yeah,
Either within 40 seconds or you can
Yeah.
control them
And
up to
the
like
book-
2 days before,
And
whatever.
the book is magical and came from this demon dimension. Kind of got lost in our world, or at least.
Well, when the
I mean, Ryuk
when the
intentionally.
god of that gets bored, he kind of drops the note into the human world, and then the human picks it up, and
Does stuff with it.
Yeah.
And usually it doesn't take long for people to get killed by the god of death, but in this case the god of death was really liking what was happening with the Death Note this time around.
because the guy who picked it up kind of he was
He
smart
put it
about
to good use, yeah, he was very smart about it, but eventually there's this the worldwide known detective who solves the unsolvable crimes.
Goes by the name of L.
Yeah.
And as the events progress, basically the L kind of figures out who might be responsible. So,
And it's cat and mouse
He
from,
kinda-
that,
yeah,
from that
definitely.
point on.
and they even work together
It's
to
the
catch
whole,
the guys.
it's pretty much the whole Columbo thing, it's like he keeps coming back to the same person, at that point you know who's guilty, so
Yeah.
yeah. And once Cell dies, to me is like, okay,
Then kind of this, then all of a sudden turns out that the L was raised in an orphanage in England where they raise up smart, brilliant kids, and basically L is the title that gets passed on from person to person. When one dies, somebody else in the orphanage
picks up the mantle.
picks up the mantle.
And he had these friends who were kind of in his detective group, so to speak, and they
Who were in the orphanage.
yeah, and
Basically, one of them was supposed to, once L died, one of them was supposed to become the next L. The guy who didn't get picked to be the next L, he kind of goes solo in search of the same guy, while
yeah,
the new
it's-
L kind of works with the FBI to catch Kira, while at the same time Kira is being the new L. Confused yet?
Yeah, and to me that whole other part of the show was completely unnecessary. They could have just left it. Once Cell died, they could have done stuff with Kira that...
I figure why they went about it. I figure why...
I know why they did it, but it's like, to me, it was unnecessary completely. And then once the show ends, that whole ending that they were building toward to, they kind of say, we're not going to do that, we're going to go with this tragic ending instead.
Yeah,
and
basically, God of Death kills them and takes back the notebook.
Why?
It's a good anime up to a certain point, then its quality kind of goes down. Basically, what they try to do, once Cell dies, is to keep the same game of cat and mouse going even after he dies, so you kind of need somebody to take up the mantle.
Which was cool until El died, and then once El, because you already got emotionally attached to the character, and all these characters coming over in all of a sudden, it's like, why are they here? But like, why would I care?
Where from? You never mentioned this. Like, you just at this point, it's like, let's just keep the anime going for 17 more episodes or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't know how different it is from manga, but you know,
it's a bit of an overkill. The anime, had it been shorter, probably would have been much better. The second story, the second arc, if you would, didn't really need to be there. What they tried to do was do the same thing they did the first one,
yeah,
with a different character,
and it was good.
And it just didn't work.
It was
the writing was still there, the whole suspense of the thing was still there because you were still trying to figure out what L's gonna do, what N's gonna do, what M's gonna do.
Yeah.
A lot of initials, and it kind of goes back and forth, but since they did continue the show, they just should have done something differently. They tried to do the same thing they did with the first half of the show, so it just did not work out.
Yeah, and I think
it's still a great anime. It's still worth watching all 37 episodes of it.
Definitely.
And even when they try to repeat the whole thing they're doing to start the show with, there isn't necessarily a drop in quality at any point. The story just feels overused.
Yeah.
The quality is still there.
Yeah, the quality is still there.
It does it. The quality of the show, the quality of the story, it does not drop. It's still good, but it just feels overused. You're not as connected to it as you were to the first part of the show.
Yeah, exactly. And then the whole ending is just, to me, was disappointing because... To me, like, he could have become like god of this, like Kira could have become god of this world, like he could have get rid of all the bad people, he could have done the world, he could have made it much better place, so to speak, and I would have wanted...
Or he could have shaped the world in the way he saw
fit. And the way he went about it was pretty cool. It was very, I'm not going to say moral, but it was ethical at the very least.
He was somebody, listen, this show gets you to think about morality and
is it okay?
Ethicality of the whole thing, legality of
is it okay to kill people just because they're bad, or can people change if you give them a second chance? And if people how can you know that some people are gonna change if you give them a second chance? How can you know, if somebody already had second and third and fourth chance and they're still doing bad things? Is it all right to just write that person off? Literally, write them off the face
Basically, what would happen if you get the choice to decide who lives, who dies? What would you do? What choice would you make?
To me, if they focused on the second part of the show, like once Cell dies, they focused on that part and Ryuk part, just standing on top, like behind him eating apples, and just watching him do his own thing, like how far would Kira actually go? Would he actually change the world? Would it be for the better, or would it be for the worse? Would people eventually go back to their, prime instincts and nature and decide to kill each other off eventually simply because, I don't know. And what would happen after, Kira died eventually, like, I wanted to see that, and I didn't get it. I simply get Kira dying at the end of the episode, and that's it, the world is still the same. And
well, he changed it some, but everything. But he changed it into a world of fear. Basically, like people were afraid to do pretty much anything
because they knew Kira was watching.
Yeah, then Kira kind of kills you, and there's a whole thing like you have to be on your best behavior because basically your neighbor can turn you in for just because
he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if you end up, and then Kira's gonna find out, and then you die, and it's like you didn't really do anything.
And Kira's not gonna kill you just because somebody, you know, reports you, but he's gonna, like, he researches every person because he has to know the faces that go with the name, and so
there's a whole thing there now, because in order for Kira to work with L, he can't be Kira anymore, so he has to pay. Like, there's so many subplots in this.
And if we went into them, like, we confused ourselves even more, and the viewers
definitely confuse you. So there's a lot of subplots happening in this one. Listen, the quality of the show is great. It's definitely worth watching. You can watch it. You don't have to agree with everything that happens in there. I didn't.
Yeah.
I scratched my head in certain points. You know, just stuff didn't seem like alright to me. But listen, it is a good anime. It's worth watching. Like you said, it's short, 37 episodes long. And the quality is there for all
20 minutes per episode. You can binge this in a day, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you're not doing anything else, and I think it's a cool binge.
It's a quick watch.
You can watch it with your friends, family. Well, yeah, family too. So I mean, yeah, it's cool. You know, it's like if you, yeah. You want to give it a rating?
I have nothing. It's like 20.
I'm giving it 20.
I'm trying to figure out whether I can...
Because it's 37 something. Episodes, that's it. It's not, you know, something that is like 10
20
seasons.
Is like, 20. It's not overly spectacular at any point. It's a great written show.
Definitely.
It's an anime, so visuals are great. There's a bit of a dark tone to them, which fits the anime.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the second part takes away from the first. Even though the quality is there, the second part takes away from it.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to do was go through the whole cat and mouse game again, and they gave
just
me
with a different act.
Yeah, they gave me exactly that, and that's the last thing. That's the one thing I didn't
should have gone in a different direction, definitely.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's worth watching. It's a great quality show. So yeah, it's a quick watch. So.
Agreed. Until next time, Bash Bros out.